have a maximizing Mumbai story myself about this bridge. You know, about 3 decades ago, nearly 3 decades ago, Nitin Gadkari was the PWD minister, and he was building bridges. We used to call him the Pulkari minister. Bridges and the first expressway, Mumbai-Pune expressway.
Yeah.
And he spoke about this project that's 3-decade-old report that had been submitted in the 60s, Trans Harbour Link. And he says that 7 saal to lagenge, he says. And you know, from his face I could make out that he meant 7 saal, it's like beyond the term of my government. And his government didn't come back to power. In 1999, you know, the BJP Sena didn't come back. This project was begun 15 years later, after they came back to power, after the 3 governments, you know, successive governments were, held power in Maharashtra. And then finally you had the BJP Sena coming in, and that's how this project took off. So, Mr. Khar, this thing of political stability, we've been talking about it. You know, this uninterrupted political continuity that's really important for infrastructure. How important do you see this in the current context?
It's extremely important to sustain the momentum.
Right.
You know, as one of the sessions that we have is sustaining the movement and the momentum at What India Thinks Today Global Summit. One of the good things about this government has been that, you know, they have been extremely focused on timelines.
Yes.
By and large, they have met timelines of various heavy-duty infrastructure projects. And they have also, so to say, caught up on some earlier projects, you know, like some bridge in the Northeast. Northeast was never given the right attention, which was lying there for 15 years.
Yes.
But obviously, there's so much to catch up. Mumbai, you said, you know, we did that story, maximizing Mumbai. When you do a Mumbai-Delhi comparison, Sandeep, what happens is that Delhi, because of the Commonwealth Games, got a massive, unprecedented one-time push.
Right.
Mumbai is still waiting for that big-ticket push. You know, there is a trigger. There are occasional spikes like this one. You know, we keep talking about maximizing Mumbai, but it won't happen. I have repeatedly said that for maximizing Mumbai, we need maximum investments. So in terms of the overall outlay, and if you're a Mumbaiker, you know, you will say, I'm contributing X amount to the GDP, which is much more than any other state. So then, you know, I need far greater share of development, which has not yet happened. I mean, you come monsoon and you see what happens to Mumbai.
Yes.
You know, it's a pothole story which runs all
abysmal,
through.
Yeah.
So abysmal. The other big challenge to my mind is that, you know, whenever you build heavy-duty infrastructure, I keep giving this example because I'm extremely sad about it. I live it every day. The D&D flyover was built with such aplomb, and we made such heavy investments. It was, you know, a Noida toll bridge company, but because of right or wrong reasons, the judiciary, you know, came in and then said that we should stop paying the, you know, the toll and toll tax, and the result is there for everyone to see. I hope there is a learning there. I'm told that just to keep it running, which is the lifeline between South Delhi and East Delhi, we'll need another 100 crores. Who is going to foot that bill? So if you are able to build infrastructure in the right time and the right framework, the right quality, it's equally important to sustain that framework for another, you know, 30, 40, 50 years.
Right, absolutely. And Mr. Khar, you know, when you were speaking about projects in the Northeast, our reporter Nivriti Mohan and video journalist Manish just traveled to Arunachal Pradesh recently, where they got an exclusive glimpse of the Sela tunnel. Now, this is a strategic tunnel connecting Guwahati to Tawang, and China claims all of Arunachal Pradesh as its territory. So, tunnels like Sela are extremely important to guarding our frontier. Let's watch Nivriti Mohan's report.
So News9 Mediaverse is the first media house to be inside the Sela tunnel after its completion, and the tunnel is complete now, and it looks beautiful. You can see it is a very beautiful tunnel, and we have with us Colonel Ravikant Tiwari, who is the project director for this entire project. How costly is the project, sir?
It is a 825 crores project. And it's a twin tunnel project with the 2 approach roads and 1 link road. So the road length is approximately 9 kilometers. Where we are standing right now, the tunnel 2, it is 1595 meters, and the tunnel 1 is 1005 meters. So effectively 2.6 kilometers tunnel with a parallel escape tunnel towards my right, which is running parallelly to this tunnel.
So this escape tunnel is for the safety of the workers, the passengers?
Yeah, as per the international standards, we have to provide a escape tunnel in any tunnel which is more than 1500 meters. So we have provided one over here. It has got 5 cross passages at a spacing of 250 meters. And this connects to the escape tunnel, which is 4 meter high, and it has got a carriageway of 4 meters.
Right. So how will it reduce the distance? Earlier you used to take Chenab Pass to reach Tawang. Now how much of distance will be reduced?
Distance will be reduced by around 8 kilometers, but the timing will be reduced around 45 minutes in clear weather, and in winters it goes up to 3 to 4 hours because of the icing and because it's a single lane road up to Chenab Pass from the Baisakhi side. So overall I would say 1 hour minimum for everyone.
Is it going to be a game changer strategically and for civilians as well?
Yeah, 100%. Anything which reduces time to the commuters is a game changer, because in terms of, if you see the socio-economic growth of the state, so the tourism influx will be more. For the commuters to move from Tezpur side to Tawang side to Tezpur side, they'll be traveling faster. So yes, it is going to be a game changer.
Earlier it used to happen that for 4 to 5 months or 3 to 4 months, the Chenab Pass, at the Chenab Pass, there was a great difficulty for the movement of troops.
Rather, as we speak right now, around 3 days back, the movement was 1 day from the Tawang side, 1 day from the Tezpur side, because the traffic used to get stuck up for 12 hours sometimes. So just because last 3 days have been clear weather, so we could clear it off, and now the traffic is flying from both the sides. So there is a great difficulty in winters for 2 to 3 months.
So now, instead of 1 hour, you will take just 10 minutes through this tunnel to reach
20 minutes. 20 minutes. So I say that 1 hour 10 minutes it is through the tunnel to reach the start and end point of this tunnel, and 20-25 minutes through this tunnel. So effectively 45 minutes are saving for the light vehicles,
So
1 hour for the heavy vehicles.
Is it going to deter China?
I'd not comment on that. But yes, this whole thing is going to be,
A game changer.
a game changer, and very, very fruitful for the people residing in this area towards the Tawang side and towards the Dirang side.
You were telling me that if you consider the aerial distance, it should be around 30 to 40 kilometers from the
border.
LAC.
Yeah, from the border area, yeah.
Strategically, this tunnel is going to be very important because it connects you to Tawang, which is strategically very, very important area for Indian side, for India. And this tunnel will make our forces reach faster towards Tawang, towards the LAC. Nivriti Mohan, News 9.
For the longest time, Kartik, we never built infrastructure on the borders with China, especially because we were afraid that the Chinese would use that infrastructure to invade us.
I mean, I'm sure, Sandeep, that would have been one of the reasons given.
Right.
India, to my mind, did not have enough money to build infrastructure.
That's
So,
number two.
at some level, we've got to look at the fact that today India is also getting a lot more revenue than it used to, traditionally, by way of GST collections, by way of the number of people paying income taxes, though many of them are still filing zero tax returns. But the fact that the tax base has widened, there is obviously FDI coming in, there is FII coming in. Overall, the investment climate in India is better. You're talking about, Chenab Pass, and in fact, I happened to visit Chenab Pass about a decade ago or so.
Yeah.
And you're right, those roads continued to be inmotorable, insurmountable, and we had to get skid chains fitted on that Mahindra Xylo, the only vehicle which was capable then of going over those snow-laden passes. And lo and behold, we got stuck. And we had to walk about, 100 meters or so in snow to reach a gypsy waiting on the other side of the pass and then continue our journey. So building infrastructure in those, climatic conditions at those peaks without the right investment in technology, in machinery, is obviously expensive and not something that India could very easily afford, back in the day. But even right now, I think the government's leitmotif behind these investments in infrastructure also happen to be the fact that you don't really have too much private sector capital investment still coming in. Now, you've got to keep the GDP number ticking, and that is pretty much, your calling card right now for the whole world. I mean, India, the bright spot, the fastest growing major economy, we've seen all these headlines. that is something which is pretty much happening on the base of government's own investments in infrastructure. Is that the only reason? Obviously not. You want the GDP numbers to grow, but then what Rakesh was mentioning earlier, the multiplier effect of infrastructure.
Yes.
So cheaper, freer, faster movement of people as well as goods. I think the entire churn which is happening in supply chain and how that is being, look at the number of unicorns which are there in supply chain, right? So I think that is something which is catapulting India's growth right now to a large extent. And then of course the consumption story, as we know, the urban consumption story is great, of course.
The only thing we haven't discussed when it comes to all that multiplier effect is that once upon a time it was the railway stations which created the multiplier effect.
Yeah.
Today it's all about the airports, from Ayodhya to every single city to Trichy, where the government just recently opened an airport.
And Noida, I mean, likely to open end of this year.
Absolutely, Jaywar.
It's not just, I mean, you mentioned airports which are happening every day now. I mean, you know, we're adding airports at a fascinating speed. Metro economy, you go to a metro station, just go outside of the metro station. What I call the metro economy, it's phenomenal. I mean, it may be informal, it may be a little irritating, it can cause a traffic jam, but then the multiplier effect is for everyone to see. On the infrastructure piece, I think one point that, you know, Sandeep, you were making, which needs to be repeated and so to say stressed, you know, this government, so to say, depoliticized, you know, locating development from a political prism only. Northeast is of strategic importance. That has led as a collateral to BJP gaining an entry into Northeast in terms of the electoral gains. But I think the bigger intent and the result for the country as a whole is that we have strengthened our pillars in Northeast. Now that template is being followed by other states as well, both BJP and non-BJP. That's the good part of it. Because any good economic policy, I keep saying, post-liberalization, the biggest, you know, so to say, positive of that is that there is complete consensus on economic reforms in this country today.
Absolutely, and I think
the road taken could be different, but there is consensus, and that is being seen. That's being seen across states who are vying for greater attention of both investors, spending, consumption.
I think that's the big, win of the India story. That the fact that every political party is aligned when it comes to economic liberalization. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for a very exciting discussion on maximizing India's infra push. We're going to continue this discussion at the Global Summit, where Mr. Khar and Kartik are going to be speaking to Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Meanwhile, Season 2 of Dialogue with Barun Das has just been uploaded on the News9 Plus app. We leave you with a glimpse of this cerebral conversation with Dr. Deepak Chopra, where Deepak Chopra and Barun Das exchange ideas and theories that traverse a wide range of mind, body, and soul. Download and watch the entire series. Thanks for watching.
You put a rabbit in a vacuum, it dies. You put a plant in a vacuum, it dies. You put them together, they thrive. So ageless body is Brahmand and timeless mind is Brahman. Right now, the world is the victim of the hypnosis of social conditioning. Where we have confused ourselves with our selfies.
When the real outcome matches the expectations that we have, and we are joyful. Is there a simple formula of joy and happiness that you would conform to?
Happiness is always for a reason. There is a formula for happiness. Here it is. H is equal to S plus C plus V.
But if you make things simple, do you think people have a natural inclination not to take it seriously?
Simple is elegant. Simplicity is stupid.
Have you ever written in your prescription that how often sex is important in a love relationship?
In my opinion or my experience, and I don't need to defend it, it's called power mongering, influence peddling, cronyism, and corruption.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.